Good Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Doc here from North America. Another fun-filled day. Let's see how it is. It's Tuesday. We have elections going on. We have the dollar firming up. Surprise, surprise. It always seems to surprise me consistently, but I guess I should be more accepting of it somehow or another. Somehow or another, in the end result is I kind of keep on thinking markets will go back to normal when I know they're not going back to normal. So, not until quantitative easing's gone, and it's going to take many decades to clean that mess up. But anyway, there you go. You can see the best way to kind of watch the dollar is through the Swiss. Now, this will clean up on J4X. It's just a little bit behind our Chicago quant. I mean, it's just the technical tools themselves. So you can see here, this is that Swiss or is that, no, that's not Swiss, that's Bitcoin. See, Bitcoin is firm there. Let's go over to Swiss. You see here, it's just moving up a little bit. You know, we had 3 red, just like you can see the reds that were in the Chicago the J4X there, and you can see at the same time our tool that we've developed over there on the J4X. You can see it is you know, moving up just like we're doing it right here on our Chicago quant. So you can see that strength that is slowly leaking into the market again there. I don't really have a strong opinion when it comes to time and space, when it comes to the distance of how far these things are going to roll, because we just follow the math, and we know that the central banks are, you know, they're driven to keep these things in some type of channel or envelope or however you want to describe it. You know, like a giant sideways trend. You know, in other words, they want stability. That's what this is all about. In the end result, is they want stability. Probably, if you have to label this era and this new form of investment called quantitative easing, it really does dance on the floor of stability. It really does. That's what their objective is, to keep all these things stable, not too volatile. And it is challenging because volatility is volatility. It's a lack of inventory, or too much inventory. That's what volatility really comes down to always. So we are firming up here. You can see on the Chicago quant side of it, which is the leading indicator on the planet. It's ahead of the curve, and you can see it's trying to flirt with the buy side of it. And you can see the product itself is trying to move up. Now, we've been in a weekly sell since here, so you see that downwardly pressure. We'll see how long this lasts. We don't see any real strength coming out of the weekly at the moment. Green line is heading down. Blue line is kind of sideways, and the histogram is totally minus, making lows of, I don't know, what is that, 10 weeks, something like that maybe? When was the last time we saw the histogram down that low? Back in July. And it's lower than the July one too. So, was there a lower one in a while? Right there, I guess, back in June. So, the pressure is still on this product on the longer term, the week to week on the downside. And as you can see, when you make it tighter, you can see right there, it does have that flavor. And then when you go over to the J4X itself, you can see this is a nice tool that gives you some good insight, better than, say, MACD or some of these other indicators that are laggers compared to our challenging, I used to call it the algo wars, where 2 algorithms battle with each other. And in this case here's the algo war, is the 2 stochastics, the slow versus the fast, battling with each other, seeing who is well, the fast obviously leads this whole thing. So, all right. After that, I think I should have a sip of my tea. Is there anybody in the house this morning? Can everybody hear me? We had something happen with the hurricane where I started broadcasting and somehow I got bounced or did something. That's not normal because usually Dukascopy picks up on that. But got bounced last week, and I was talking for a half hour before someone said, "I can't hear you." I was like, wow, wait a minute. When was the last time you did hear me? All right, let's jump over to the euro. And you can see here, it's really started to dip back down again. We thought yesterday they were going to get it into the buy. It had that look. I mean, you know, the Swiss was moving down perfectly against the dollar. You know, in other words, it was gaining value. Looked like the, you know, we're at the bottom end of the range of the last year. You can see that there. And we thought, oh my goodness, you know, here, oh good. Knowledge says yes, loud and clear, Doc. Cool. Excellent. And then we see right here, you know, this, all of a sudden this morning, the pressure is on again in our math. Let's see what it looks like on J4X. There we go. And thank you again, Middle Age. I like people confirming they can hear me. Now you can see, let's see, where's it at? Yeah, doing the same thing, making that dive down just like we're doing here. What's curious though is this weekly. See this here? The weekly is trying to turn up still. At one point, I guess yesterday we had this little thing here, you know, we try to show you, meaning that it's above the plus line. So we'll put that in there again. We'll fix the center of it. Yep, cancel that. Where are you? Right there, there we go. Make that gray like that. There we are. And you can see it's just busting across the zero line. You can see when we put the little chart up there, it is plot 1 is 0.0004. So it's a plus. And you can see the histogram is even higher, obviously. It's a plus 7. 0.00007. So they are, they're trying to bounce off this bottom end of the range. You got to imagine the central banks are all probably like, you know, it's like, you ever see like a tug of war where, you know, you take two groups and they pull on the rope and they're trying to get one side to fail and go across a line. Well, I imagine that in many ways all the central banks are trying their best right now to make sure that the euro goes up in value. They're fighting here at the, you know, the low of, what's it, 9 months, 10 months, 12 months, something like that. Plays that range. See how it hits the top of the range, hits the top of the range there, tries to go down. We get this inflationary thing going on. And you can see back here in August of, what is that, 2020, no, July of 2020, you know, you can see where it establishes this particular range and bounces in between it. It's been doing that for a while. Now we felt that you know, it had touched these right here at the beginning of the range, established its range, it got a little cross there. Then this is a year later, they start talking about inflation, and you can see the range kind of shifted a little bit. It got a little bit higher on one side. So we thought they were moving the range up, but here we are, married to that bottom end of the range again. Handcuffed, I guess you could say. Alright, and let's check it out over here. As you can see, you know, it's doing that dip. And let's take a look at it on a weekly basis here on the J4X. Let's see how it's looking to match up with Doc's work. I bet it's probably just turning green for a second week, maybe. Let's see. No, it hasn't even gotten there yet. So we're trying. You see, it's moving up here, down at the bottom on a weekly. It's trying to get there. And again, traders, this is way better than any other public indicator I know out there. This is a very successful one solely because it's an algo fighting an algo instead of trying to, you know, smooth out the product itself, you know. And then here is these hinky ashies, they're smoothing out the bars, so it kind of emulates our dots. It has a nature to emulate them, and you can see here when you look at the dots, it pretty much is the same. Not, you know, there's a lot of red. You can see red, 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 and green, then red, red, and then green and red, which is a volatility signal for us. And this is usually about 3 or 4 hours behind our math, that type of thing. That's why I say we are a super leading indicator, and this is a super leading indicator. And then something like a MACD or an average is a lagging indicator. Now that's not how Market Technicians Association views it, but that's how I view it. Since I've been an associate of the Market Technicians Association, off and on throughout the decades. When you're a member there, you have to share your math, and so I would go to the meetings, but I wouldn't share my math. And since a friend of mine from the floor was president of it for decades, off and on, I was always invited as an associate to visit and lecture or do whatever I wanted. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Santiago's in the house. Good evening to you, and thank you. I am peachy today. All good. The elections are starting to occur. They've been out there voting now for a few hours. It'll be nice to see this over with and hopefully landing the way we expect it to, and it'll be very positive for America and for the markets. Yeah, that's what I was saying that at the beginning of the webinar here. The quantitative easing, its job really is stability and a sideways chop and not a lot of volatility. And when it comes to the equity markets around the planet, the objective is for it to go up in value. In other words, they want the portfolios to be plus every year. So they're not supposed to explode up. They're supposed to just be slow and steady. A lot of consistency, cut back on the nervousness. This way money stays in the funds. The pension funds stay healthy. This way the government doesn't have to come in and support some of these pension funds. I mean, there's some things people have not really talked about. Some of the major pension funds have lost and stopped paying, like 2/3, anywhere from a half to 2/3 of the amount of money they paid people on pension over the last decade. The media hides that really well. So that's what QE is about. It has a couple different values. Things Mr. Bernanke theorized in his PhD thesis. So that is the strategy of it all. So sideways it is. Let's see. Let's go to the cable. There it is right there on Chicago. Let's put it up on J4X. Let's see, right there. Now see how it's been green. It might be flirting with a red right now. We'll see. The weekly. The weekly is going to pop up first on us. Yeah, there's a red. So we've been in a weekly buy for 3 full weeks, and it's still showing lots of strength. I think I need to blow my nose. Excuse me, traders. There we go. All right. So you can see there. What can we say about that? We can see. Excuse me about blowing the nose. There's some. You can see here on the weekly. It's trying to top out a little bit at the top of its range. We'll see. Over here on ours, it's telling us that there's more strength, even with it backing and filling. It refuses to, damage itself. We'll see if it does. It's been in a daily sell for 3 days here. You can see right there. I don't know why the line's not there. We didn't save it yesterday or 2 days ago at this point. Cancel. Let me move that. Where'd that go into the buy? Like right there. So 1 day in the buy and bang, right back down again. Go. So there's the action. You can see there. It's trying. It went into the buy up in here. It went nowhere. It's played with the 50 percentile, and we're actually on the wrong side of the ball, which is kind of interesting. We went into the daily sell here. So we go into the weekly buy, and we go into the daily sell. And then we get 1 day of a pop, and it's a loser. No chicken dinner there. And then now we're it's still in the daily sell now for the last 3 days. So interesting. Out of the last 9 days, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days? Out of the last 8 days, 7 of them have been in a sell. So the cable is having its issues trying to get rolling along there. Yeah, this particular product, it's really fighting right now the cable. You know, the momentum, the money, everything is telling us that it wants to go a certain way, and that's what it's doing. Yeah, you can see that there. Let's see, what else can we say about that? Let's see what it looks like over on a daily. There it is on daily on J4X. The same thing. Showing all that weakness. Lots of red. Was it 2, 4, 6? 6 of the 8 days have been in the red. It does a good job of matching up with our dots. It's just laggard in time, that's all. But if you don't have a chance to see Doc live, or you don't have a chance to, get to the, or you're trying to trade yourself, this J4X strategy we have on here with the algo war going on, the two algorithms battling with each other, all three of them, I guess you could say. That's the way you really want to do it. It's better than having nothing, because you sure don't want to use these lagging indicators of MACD and moving average and all this other stuff. It's nowhere near as accurate as when you actually battle algorithms against each other. They're moving faster. So. All right. From there, we dance our way over to the Turkish lira. See what's going on there today. And there it is there, the Turkish lira in a sell for 2 days. Again, where did the red go? I'm going to steal that red and just move it over. Let's do that green. Oh, green we can instigate instantly. Like that. There. So 2 days in a sell, but we extended the trapezoid or the box, the rectangular box even longer now. Now we're like 2, 4, 6, going on an 8th week in the weekly buy. And we're beyond our channel that we established 6 months ago. It's played with it many a time, and now it's climbed through it with no problem. Let's check it out over on J4X. See how it looks there today. There it is. And then, remember, when you get bored with me, just ask a question. We can put up something new or something interesting. So we don't have to go through this rhythm. I go through this rhythm every day, to give everybody an idea of what's going on for the day in these products. But we don't have to consistently just run through it. We can look at other things. So if anybody has a question out there, fire it out. We'll get involved in it. Alright, and that is right there doing the same thing in the Turkish lira. You see that? Let's take a look at Euro Turkish lira, if I can find the right mouse. There we go. Now this is much more indicative of the future events of this product. We kind of think of it as location. We kind of think of it as location, location, location. More trade is going on with the European Union and Turkey than there is the United States, I would assume. And let's take a look at it on the Chicago, same way. Right there. And you see it's rolling over the same way it is on the J4X, a little pressure, not going anywhere particular. And it's 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks also in a weekly buy. And we were really wondering if this thing was going to go find the 12 handle. It really had that look to it. They got up to they got to the 11.5 handle. And we were like, oh my God, this thing's going to the 12.5 handle. So we'll see. President / former Prime Minister Erdogan has this devaluing structure of economics where it seems like they want to devalue their currency down enormously so that they can get foreign investment into the country. So I assume that's the only thing I can understand. I don't understand anything else. I don't know what else would be the logic of why we see this currency changing its value like this over since Mr. Aragon or President Aragon has been involved. The product, as I sip my tea, has gone from 1.5 to 11.5. Wow. All right. All right. From there, we go over to the Canadian. Let's find Canadian. Dollar pairs Canadian. They're doing their election too. I'm a little surprised. I would have thought it'd been over with by now. I'm a little surprised. We'll have to see how that. Maybe it. We are so disconnected here with news in the United States that that they could have had their election and no one said anything about it. Honestly, that's how bad our media is over here at this point. They could have had their election, like when the British Parliament got together and sanctioned Joe Biden about 3 months ago in August. That was not reported here in the States whatsoever. They kept on saying the Europeans are really happy with Joe Biden. At the same time, NATO was putting out that statement saying Joe Biden's the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of NATO. That was never seen. I saw it because I follow foreign news, but our media just has us in this island United States at the moment, and it's all leftist dreams. These are good. Like right now, I don't know how many of you know about it, but Mr. Biden is trying to give illegal alien families $1 million apiece. People are kind of stunned. The media doesn't talk about it, but he's trying to do it, and you see it across the internet, but the major media doesn't talk about it at all. So we see some really strange things that don't happen, and we see some really, really strange things that do happen. All right, there's the Canadian. You can see it yesterday. I think it went into the buy there yesterday. Yeah, let's put that line in there. I know it on the fact check spreadsheet. Where's it at? Right. There it is, line 20. See, it's in a buy. There we go. So we're moving up again. The dollar is gaining value against the Canadian for the moment, but we're in that not long, but 4 weeks, going on a 5th week, and a weekly sell from this territory up in here. Let's see what else we want to look at there. What else is there? So I guess in the end result, let's see, where's it at in J4X? You can see it there, same thing, moving up. So we're assuming, because we're seeing this move against the dollar, we're assuming that like crude oil, let's take a look at crude. The crude oil would be going down in value, something like that. Gold might be going down in value. We'll see. See the correlation if it happens. Now crude looks firm. Yeah, so it's not that moving it. So that didn't move it. Not as Bitcoin. There it is. Yeah, okay. Crude oil's flat to down a little bit, but still in a daily buy, in a weekly buy. What's that? 2, 4, 6, 8 on a 9th week now, since the high 60s, and now we are in the low mid 80s. All right, now let's look at gold. Let's see how gold looks. There's gold, and that's a little bit down, nothing major. You can see the weekly's trying to really launch itself. Let's go over and see what gold looks like here. There's gold. You can see it's trying to join in with the weekly, and it's in a daily buy now, 2 days. And let's see what it looks like on the J4X on a week-to-week basis. There we are. Yeah, showing life there. Yeah. It's been, telling us it wants to go up. See, the lines have gone up for the last week and a half. You can see we have 4 weeks now green there, and it has been on an upwardly slope, I have to say. That's the weekly, and that is, that's 4 weeks. It's an upwardly slope, no doubt about it. You can see it on Chicago. right there. It's been an upwardly slope. So the metals complex is gaining in value. So Canadian, maybe it's just a little profit taking in Canadian today. Maybe that's what we're really seeing. I'm going to Google it. I want to know if they had their election. Now that I say that out loud, they could have had their election. We wouldn't know about it. They'd hide it, especially if it didn't go. Let's say if the socialists didn't win. Oh, they'll definitely hide it. Let's see, Canadian. Election. So far, the search engine doesn't pick up any of that. So let's see. They're not even willing to tell us about it. Election. Let's see what it says here. Election 2021. Let's see. 2021 federal election was held on September. Okay. For the 44th Canadian. All right. So it was in September. We've been waiting for that information for like 3 or 4 weeks. Canadian election live results from Trudeau to O'Toole. It says here Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will stay in power, but has not won the majority he hoped after calling a snap election. Aha, that's why they're hiding it. Okay, that makes sense. So he's got that strange coalition again. That's what it is. So they're stuck right where he was hoping to get power finally. He can't get anything really done. He's a minority prime minister. So he has a coalition of groups that they don't get along with each other, but they don't want the majority to have control. So they have that ability. Let's see. His Liberal Party retains power but fails to secure the majority he wanted when calling snap elections. All right. So they've hidden this totally. And we talked about this. We were wondering if the markets were reflecting, why it was going down. In other words, it was gaining against the dollar. We assumed it was because they were doing so good in the polls. Yeah, so that makes sense. So it happened almost 4 weeks ago now, and our media has not said a word, and that's the reason why, because Trudeau didn't really get what he wanted. So anytime someone on the socialist or communist side fails, they won't report it in the United States. All right, what do we got here? Let's see. There we go. Let's take a look at, from here we've done the metals, so now we're going to do is look at the South African Rand. We've been a little bit surprised about the South African Rand. It was a little surprised it keeps on moving up, not down. You can see it again. Up again another day. It is hitting to the top end of the range, but we've been in a weekly buy now going on a 6th week here. Let's see, right here. South African Rand right there. Let's go with the daily. So, let's see. Can you imagine that they hid that whole election from us? How long you hold your position? It depends on how you're holding it. Doc, here's one good one. Doc, did you trade in any crash going short? Yep. The 87 crash for sure. The Ivan Boesky crash in 85. The flash crash of 88. Let me think. And just recently the crash in February of 2020, and the V-bottom explosion of the beginning of April of 2020. Yeah, we trade through volatility. I'm more of a volatility trader. If you had to describe my type of rocket science, it's technical analysis and volatility. Now, when you say how long would you hold your position, it depends on how you build a position. If you're dollar cost averaging, even then, I'm still ready to go sell some calls and buy some puts. Um, Bull spreads and binaries are more my desire. Intraday, I'll trade, the spot, that type of thing, but not much of a big fan of carrying naked hard delta overnight. So, does that make any sense to you? All right. I was just waiting to see if he was going to say anything on that. Yep, good. Gotcha. Exactly. And we talk about. Oh, hey, 47. How you doing? Can we look at Nikkei? Sure. Um, we talk about binaries and options and hard delta and so forth. We just have that discussion here all the time. They're all good tools. You just have to know when to use them and when not to use them. I mean, I think that's what it really comes down to. Let's see, Nikkei. Where are you, Nikkei? Get rid of that. Activate and delete. And then let's make a copy of something. Let's use we'll use this one. Copy window and paste window. They have that Nikkei in Chicago on the CME, so we can find that instrument. Let's see, close. Format. And let's see. Nikkei. Let me go look at the Chicago Mercantile website just to see what the symbol is again. I forget. Let me put an N in there and see what happens. Let me bring it up. No, it's not in there anymore. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see, Mercantile. We'll find the symbol on that and put it up there for you. It's interesting. I didn't pay attention today what they did, but usually I like to, Market. Let's see, where's it at? Markets. Let's see, equity indexes. Let's see what that does. All right, here we go. Let's see, Russell, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, international indices. Here we go, Nikkei. NKD, that's what it is. Let's see, so we want to look this up. NKD. Look up. There we go. And it's the December contract. Let's find that. So it's in the Z's at the bottom, right there. Globex, like so. Add like so. Close like so. There we go. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it's going up into a buy. That's interesting. We're just going to leave that right there. It's been in a sell since right here. Kind of lagging, isn't it? Let's see how the daily goes. So that buy was good. That sell was very protective. Buy there's good. Sell there. That buy moves over one like so. That sell's good. There's no buy there until here. Okay. So that is that. And you can see this seems to be more of a 5. Let's change the, we got a 3 in there, which makes sense. Let's stretch this out to a 5. So let's add, let's remove this one like so, and then insert a 5 in there. Boy, this could be even a candidate for 7. It comes down to the beta of the product itself when I choose which gases to go with. Indicator, add gas line 5. Here's a gas 5. That could be interesting too. Let's do a gas 5. Sometimes gas 5 is just a little bit faster. I like gas 5. It's still in a buy, even on this, you know, we went into the daily sell here. You can see it was still in a buy there. I wonder what a gas 3 looks like. Maybe it needs to be advanced instead. Indicator. Let's remove that. And add a gas 3. Gas 3, gas 3, gas 3. Where are you, gas 3? Gas 4, gas 3. There we are. It broke down here. That's good. Let's do this. Let's move this up like so. Move that up like so. Yeah. And it started to break down right here. You can see that with the line right there. So it started catching it a couple weeks ahead, and it moved back into the buy here for this action. I do like the gas is much faster. It's missing the histogram because it's doing a 1 standard deviation and a 2 standard deviation. So that's why it's like this. So see here we have just 1 time manifold. In this one here we have a nonlinear 2 time manifold. The dashed right there and the gold lines there. And then you can see how, you know, it bounces. Let's tighten it up a little bit. See how it looks. Yeah, see it comes through here, joins in with the buy. Wow, where was that buy at? Look at that. That buy. Wow. Boy, did it pick that one up. Somewhere's around there. Went into the buy there. You can remove that, and remove that. And then it finally went into a sell up in here. Not there, there. Went into the sell here, and it pushed itself right back into a buy a couple days later. And it was, you know, you couldn't take the sell because it was in a weekly buy right there. See that? Look how, and when this is what I like about the gas versus the gas line. When the plot 1 in this goes flying through the second nonlinear time manifold, it's usually an indication. It's a very good indication of a topping out market. Matter of fact, it's always accurate about that. It may lag a couple weeks or a couple days, depending on which one it is, or a couple hours. Most of the time, you can see it here. Let's do this. You know, just for a good example of it. Let's see. Let's just make sure I'm not missing any questions either. Oh, J4X is in the way. Okay. All right. So there it is there, and you can see here the. Let me see if I missed anything. Gotcha. J4X is in the way. Okay. So you can see here. That's why I like about gas versus the gas line. You know, because the gas line has basically, in essence, 2 lines instead of 1. You know, we turn one into a histogram, but they're both always plus or they're always both minus, and I'm trying to see the standard deviation. Whereas this is always very indicative. You know, you get that much strength, we're going to start topping out. And let me just show you what I mean by that on an intraday basis, just as a good example of it. If I can find the button to push, there it is right there. Okay. Yeah, like there. There's a good example right there. Here is the intraday 936, or what I call a 2.5 Tesla. And you see the green histogram, which is really the green line, because this is the gas. Now this is one of my more powerful ones that I designed and I forgot all about. This is a gas 6 with a super 12. And you can see here, see how the histograms made it through the top time manifold? Look what happens. As soon as it starts to break down here, you get the weakness. It does that a lot. It does it here. There was the, I guess you could say, there was the breaking of the manifold. It's tight and it's small, but right there it breaks out, you know, it breaks above, and the next reading is so low below the second time manifold, you get usually a big smash. Whereas when it's dragged along, it's a little bit slower smash. Now this case here, it gave us that. I'm imagining this might break down more. It's tightening up, and it's also a few minutes before the market opens, but that's an example of it. Now in this case here, you can see it touches it through there, and then this is where I start to figure that it's breaking down. When it breaks down through the second time manifold, you get your weakness. And that's what I mean by that. So when we look at it, let's go back to the Nikkei. This is a little tutorial on Doc Math. Oop, let's cancel whatever that did. Where's the... Okay, so we go like that. So this is like a little tutorial on Doc Math. And so you can see here, where's the mouse at? There it is. So you see here it broke through there, and then when it finally breaks this here, right there, after being well overbought, and starts breaking down, does the bounce again and whole bit. But once it starts breaking down under the second time manifold, Katie bar the door. Usually you get your weakness. In this case here, let's see if we can find when it went plus. There you go. There's one that broke below and then started to move back up again. And you know, got through here, and you can see that it did it there off of that low. And it was a sideways to down, sideways to up, I guess. A prelude, you know, it bounced off of this again, and you know, and then it really started the whole explosion on the upside there. So, what histogram and lines? What histogram and lines? Oh, like see the daily above it? This is a gas line indicator of mine versus a gas. And what it does is it's only doing a one time manifold, the nonlinear time manifold of the yellow lines. And it's doing a one standard deviation, whereas on my math itself. And then so what happens on a gas, cancel, it is 2, it's a one standard deviation there, and then the dashed line, the blue dashed line, is a 2 standard deviation. And that's what's interesting. It was something that John Bollinger mentioned to me decades ago, and I just thought about it, and he made a pretty popular indicator with the Bollinger bands. So when I did my math, I did a 1 standard deviation and a 2 standard deviation. I think at one time he used to like to look at 1s and 1.5s and 2s. So how's that? Let me have a sip of my tea while I'm thinking again. So where did we leave off? So we were looking. Oh, we were looking at the Nikkei. Excuse me for sipping my tea. So where are we at now? Nikkei. Let's look at the Nikkei. So there it is. There's the Nikkei. It's in a weekly buy for a few weeks here, especially there, and it's in a daily buy right there. And you got your little pop from it. So there was a winner, winner, chicken dinner, and you have not pierced that dash line yet. it's starting to play. What's interesting is the green line is playing with the 0 line, so that's kind of like a a bearish thing on a week-to-week basis. Now on a daily, it's holding up much better. You see that there. I don't know. We'll see. See if this is going to go like standard deviation. 1% standard deviation. So that's where we are there. Fund managers started to respect the standard deviation about 3 decades ago, 3 or 4 decades ago. 4 decades ago? Yeah, 4 decades ago. So that's what helped make the Bollinger work for him. The green line is not a standard deviation. That's a moving average of my math itself. It's not a moving average, it's stochastic of my formula. So the green line is a stochastic. That's why we can do this. When we look at, let's see if we can get it up on here. That's right. We left off at the South African Rand. Let's see if we can find the Nikkei on here. Let's look at J4X. I'm sure they have the Nikkei. Hong Kong, S&P. I thought they had that. There's the Nifty 50. There's the Hong Kong. There's the FTSE. There's the Euro Stock 50. No. Okay, I was wrong. I could have sworn that they had the Nikkei on there too. There's bonds. What is that? Natural gas. Another natural gas in Britain. Huh. I thought they did. All right. Anyway, that's what it comes down to. Is the green line is the let's put something up there that we're following, and you'll be able to see it. We show it to you all the time. That's why we put the J4X up, and you can see the comparison. How they work together, not against each other. In other words, it follows Doc's math. Let's go back to the South African Rand. So there's the South African Rand. Here's your daily. That's the white line is the green line, and the black histogram is the green line. Okay, it's a stochastic to our math. Now let's look at the South African Rand. See, it's doing the same thing, coming off the lows, going up, moving through the dash line. I call the dash line a 3-dimensional 0 line. It's our single plane right there. In this case here, they're not battling with each other. They're just showing me the two. It's like a 1 standard deviation of the stochastics and a 2 standard deviation of the stochastics. That's what it really comes down to. It's me doing an averaging. It's kind of like a combination game playing in my head. Let's see. 47 says it's called. Let's see. Looks like a stochastic with 2 standard deviation lines. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. But when I do it on the nonlinear manifold, it's better. That's why I like the gas. So when we go over to, let's go back to the Nikkei. When you go back over to the Nikkei, where's the map? There it is. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't show you this. Okay, there we go. So there's the South African Rand, right? And there it is here. And you can see how the intraday follows it. Cancel. See how it does that? It's got that even same characteristics of the dip and the dip, so forth, except for what it's doing is it's doing it against my formula, not against, which then is taking it from the price action of the product itself. So that's what makes it faster. I know, going through those filters, you would think that it would be slower, but it's so accurate that it's faster because it's able to predict future direction. It can tell you where and when. So it tells you where and when. It messes with the Heisenberg problem. Warner's formula is that delta X and delta P over, Heisenberg's H and the 4 pi squares is oh my God, it's bad math. In my head it is. Maybe not to them, maybe not to modern physics, but God, in my physics, it's bad math as far as I'm concerned. It's sloppy old. You know, it was okay, at the beginning, but it should have been advanced. People like me should have advanced it years ago. My math has been around for over 40 some odd years. You know, if physics was healthier to be part of, I would have shared it, but it wasn't worth it. You know, they were so backwards with until they get rid of these crazy accelerators and the waste of money at the LHC. You know, I have no interest in being involved with them. I'm part of the anti-accelerator movement of the 70s. So, anyway, I'll stop drifting out into the ozone layer there. So anyway, yes, that's what that's all about. All right, let's finish off the South African Rand, and let's move over to the ruble. There's the ruble. But if anybody wants to see anything, just shout it out. JPN 200. What's JPN 200? I guess. The yen? Let's see, the green line seems to go down, right? Yep. And at gas 3 and JPN 200. It's called JPN. Oh, what's that? The Nikkei? Is it a the Nikkei? So is that an ETF, the JPN, or is that the Japanese name of it? We get the they've had at the Chicago Mercantile, they've had the J4X. Okay, let's take a look at it over there. JPN. It didn't do that. Do I do it up here? JPN. Is it over like in the Japanese section? Or is the Japanese stocks? Oh, maybe here. Oh, here we go. JPY. JPY. JPN. JPN. Was I warm? Or did I keep on going, I guess? Because I punched it in and didn't like it. Maybe I gotta go all the way down to the J's. E, F, G, H, I, J. There's that J. Okay, here we go. JPM. There we are. And this must be in yen, right? That's what that is. Let's see how it looks in the way we do it. Okay, there we go. So you see it lifting through here, same way as here. Is that it? No, that's a ruble. No, that's a ruble. Yeah, that's it right there. So let's move this back over again. There we go. So it did the same thing right there on the day chart. See that? Bottoms and moves up. And you can see the topping out here. Yeah, so that's what we've done. What it really comes down to is our math is just more accurate time-wise. They all show themselves characteristically, but ours is just ahead. So the idea is to be long when everybody's starting to get long, not when they've gotten tired of being long. Get short as everybody's thinking about getting short. Our math picks that up. In many ways, I've always said it, my math is really a strong indicator of supply and demand. It's telling you when supply is increasing and so it's overbought, or when it's undervalued and it isn't being bought yet. My math will pick up that it's starting to be bought when everybody else thinks it's still going down. And that's the answer to it all. That's that damn EVZ we put on there a couple days ago or a week ago. Boy, is that thing giving me crazy signals. There we go. What else do we got to say about that around here, traders? I guess we're at the end of the road. We didn't even get a chance to look at gold. Let's check out silver really quick since we're over here. There is silver. I know a lot of you have watched the silver. You can see the action. It was in a buy yesterday and it's already finding a way to go back into the sell, but the weekly is still holding up. And you can see we looked at gold earlier when we were looking at Canada. You can see it's down a little bit for the day, but it's trying to get into a weekly buy. So I don't know. You know, I mean, this is just the central banks don't want this stuff. They don't want the metals to be strong. You know. See, that's for volatility. Oh, is that what that is? You know what I like? I have a good volatility one. Looking at the volatility, check this out. Yeah, that's right. We tried to look at the volatility in the euro, right? Check out the volatility I have over here. Now I do two of them. I do one with a gas line, and I do one with a gas. So you can see here it goes into a buy for a little bit. This is the VIX. And now it's pressing down, and then you can see here is with the gas, which is more of my favorite. Let's contract again with that over here. There we are. You can see it went into the buy there, cleaner. Now it did not touch here. That's interesting. It didn't get through there. See, last time we saw one get through was this right here, and then there it backed off a little bit. Then we did it again. It went through the time manifold 2 days in a row, and then it broke down. Matter of fact, the next day, look at that. It was through there, and then volatility collapsed down into the 16s over a 3-day period from the 20s. So this is more of my favorite. I sent this one out this weekend. I don't know if I put it up on LinkedIn or not, but I put the Dow up there. Maybe I'll put this up in the middle of the week. This could be fun. Will Dow rock it? It seems like it. They're squeezing them all. I mean, that's what it really comes down to in the end. That's what it looks like. All right. Anyway, traders, we be out of here. Do I like Jimmy Reeves? I have no time. I got to get out of here. But happy trails to you. We'll do Jimmy Reeves tomorrow. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. And tomorrow we'll go after Jimmy Reeves.